really believe in yourself and you don't have a financial need for like, you're not just drop dead broke, and just like on like nowhere to live. And if you have some sort of support system, I think you should hold off on doing a publishing deal for pretty much until you can't take no more, until you had your big hits and then they give you the big bag, unless you come and you meet a guy like me, or you meet a guy like other people that I work with that are similar to something I do, that are big name producers and writers. That way you can come and it's instant work. If you sign to a big conglomerate, that doesn't mean you might get a check for $100,000, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna insert you in all the sessions that you need to do to fulfill your obligations to move on to your next situation. So the money initially, it seems like a lot, but ultimately I think if you're an upcoming guy and you meet a guy like me and you collaborate well with me, then you're enlisted to a certain many amount of placements. Like last year I had 200 placements. The year before that it was 200 plus placements. So
then we got Hitmaker talking about publishing deals, and publishing deals can get really, really complicated, like for real. Like, so for example, I was in a pretty bad publishing deal back in 2013. I actually had relocated to California off the strength of a publishing deal, and I just got out of that deal in 2019. So I was actually in that deal for 7 years. And here's the thing, like with publishing deals, as a producer, you don't have any control over when songs come out, okay? The label decides that, publishers decide that if they have control. Whoever the music is being licensed to, they decide that. It's not decided by the producer in almost any situation, right? So with that being said, you could be stuck in that deal forever, like literally, like, you know what I'm saying? So for those that don't know what publishing deals are, a publishing deal is a deal they give you based on an advance. They purchase your music composition side of the music. They purchase the rights to it. And what they do is they take the music and they license it to different companies, whether it be for TV, film, video games, or to record labels, or anywhere that they can monetize and make money off of the music. They take it and they license it, right? And with a publishing admin deal, it usually ranges from maybe 10 to 15, 20%. They really just collect your publishing based on the money you make or whatever happens with the songs you produce, okay? With what's called a co-pub deal is usually 50% or more, where they give you an advance, and they own 50% of your publishing, and basically that they have more of an incentive to shop your music around and get it placed in different places, okay? They have other types of publishing deals, but those two are the main ones, right? I had a co-pub deal, and I had a monthly quota of about 30 beats to submit. And here's the thing, in order for me to get out of that deal and fulfill my obligation, I only had to get 100 songs placed, right? So think about that for a second, right? It's 12 months in the year. I had to submit a minimum of 15 to 30 beats, right? That was the minimum. 12 months in a year, 7 years I was in that deal. It took 7 years to get 100 placements. Think about that. So if we do some quick math on that, that's somewhere around 14 beats a month, okay? Now, ideally, you would say, hey, it might take me a year just to make 100 beats. Or if back then, I was probably making 2 to 5 beats a day, just locked in, cranked it out, because that's the only thing I had to do. That was my only way to make bread in the industry. So I had well over 100 beats, but getting them placed, it took 7 years to fulfill the obligation. And to be honest with you, I had to get a lawyer and get a situation to expedite that and get me out of this situation. Publishing deals, they can work for some people, but you got to get good terms, and they need to be realistic, and they need to be a situation where you can really quantify a start and end point. Everybody's situation is different. Trust me, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation won't be like mine, but I was stuck in a deal that I was only supposed to be in for 3 years. It ended up being 7 years because I have no control over when songs come out. I have no control over how songs get placed. So I told myself that if I ever did a publishing deal again, I would, number one, have a publishing company, and number two, I would have almost complete control over making the actual deals myself and getting the actual songs placed. So that way I quantify a start and end point on each and every deal and each and every placement, or at least have a starting point. I wouldn't be jammed up and have my publishing tied up for years and years in a situation. You made a good point, man. And this clip is by Producer Culture. Shout out to them.